taking all this weed. Make these diamonds go away. Make these diamonds go away. If I believed in praying, I would pray my heart away. Went through so much drama, just trying to outlive my pain. This last one it told me, had me feel like I'm going insane. I just wanna be okay, but this world is evil. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Straight Out of BS podcast. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. We have recently broke 100,000 views and count and climbing, so that is a big accomplishment. Honestly, never thought I was gonna get like a couple thousand, let alone 100,000. Like I know it's not a lot compared to like people with millions of subscribers, but I feel like that's a good it's good work. So continue to share the videos, like the videos, interacting with the video in any way. It helps the algorithm know that to push it out to more people, and so more people see about what we went through, and hopefully prevent some kids from being sent away, and maybe get some new legislation passed um, to prevent these things from happening. So thank you guys all for that. Thanks to my Patreon members. As you guys know, that's not a requirement for my channel. I don't ask for donations. So anybody that does donate, really appreciate it. From the bottom of my heart, it really means a lot. So thank you guys for that. For people that have signed up for that, links are in the description if anybody's interested in that. I want to do a moment of silence for the person still struggling with intrusive thoughts or addiction or anything like that. So on the count of three, I'm going to do a moment of silence. One, two, three. Okay, thank you for that. And without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce my guest for the day. Go ahead and introduce yourself and like just like where you went and what years, but also just like a little bit about your podcast.
Yeah, so my name is David. I am the um, owner of the Surviving Network. Um, excuse me. I can tell both of us are having allergy issues. Total sidebar. I live in Tennessee. The weather's crazy, so forgive me for that. But no, I own the Surviving Podcast Network, and there's several podcasts that falls under my umbrella. Some of them I host, some of them I don't. And the one that I have going on right now that is out and open is called Surviving Ish. You had mentioned to state, where I went and what years I was there. I was actually never part of the TTI, the Troubled Teen Industry, any of those organizations. I'm just an ally of. And once I started my podcast, I had someone reach out to me and was like, "I've got a story for you," where, because my podcast is sharing survivor stories.
Mhm.
I never knew these places existed. And most of the people in my life now are either from some kind of deconstructing from organized religion or picking themselves up and rebuilding after, being part of the TTI, or part of some big deals of breaking and changing legislation, like you were mentioning, because of these. So I personally was never involved, but I fight daily for the ones that were and are.
Okay. Do you know anybody personally that like that has gone through this, or was it just like through the network of people that you've interviewed that you like learned about it?
So I do know, well, I did not know anyone personally until I started podcasting. I've been podcasting for about 4 years now,
Okay.
and so many people. I probably have. I think the last time I counted it was like 30 something, 36, 38 episodes, based on just TTI. Well, then I made a connection with my now friend Jenny, and she wanted to start a podcast. I helped her with it. It's under my umbrella called Unholier. And so she kind of picked up with the TTI stories or any kind of religious deconstructing stories, because we were just getting an abundance of them that it needed its own platform.
Awesome. Well, that's really cool. How many podcasts do you have under like that umbrella?
So six.
Nice.
Um, two of them are out. The other ones, I'm trying to have them all a little different.
Yeah.
So some of the ones that we're working on, we're doing documentary style. So it's going to be like a full, 20, 25 episodes and then editing and all that. So, and we're having to be very calculated and legally calculated on how we promote and produce and release. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Awesome. Um, what was like okay, so like when you first found out about it, who were you interviewing and like where did they go? Like who was it, a religious school? Was it a TTI school? Because I know there's a lot of different schools. So like the first person that like turned you on to like all that this was even happening, like where did they go? Do you remember?
Yeah, so absolutely. I remember just a little bit of a backstory so people can understand how I got into it is
Okay.
I'm an open gay man in the South, and I was a victim of a brutal hate crime attempted murder about 11 years ago. And I got involved in therapy, and then I started going to group sexual assault therapy for men. I did not, I thought it was going to be a bunch of gay guys, right? Like I was the only gay guy. It was a bunch of straight men that have been assaulted, and that had led to, because of where we are in society, with mental health, especially for men, it led to addiction for a lot of them, and they were trying to get to the core of the problem. And so I became very active in that. And then COVID happened, and I obviously couldn't do group therapy anymore. And I needed a place to release. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna like buy the software, the equipment. I'm gonna start a podcast. I'll do a couple of episodes. My mom will give it a heart on social media, and I'll put the shit in the closet, be done with
Yeah.
it. And I was wrong. So about 3 months into podcasting, sharing survivor stories, a lady named Barb reached out to me, and she was like, "Hey, I'm trying to share my story. I was a part of the T.T.I, and she kept calling it T.T.I, and I was like, I don't even know what that is. And the things that she was telling me, she was a part of um,
The Rebecca School?
the Rebecca schools. Do you know Barb?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, she's a close friend of mine. So I did, when she contacted me, I was like, this is bullshit. This can't be true. Like this
She's a
can't be.
she's a treasure trove of information.
Yeah,
She's a very, yeah, I've
yeah.
talked at length with her several times.
Uh,
Yeah.
she's a really good friend of mine, and now, I met her through podcasting. But at first, I was like, I don't trust this, and she's mentioning Paris Hilton's name, and so she was like, "Can I send you legal documents that you can research and vet out?" And she said, "Turn your phone off because all night long it's gonna be message after message after message." And boy, was she right. And everything that she showed me and proved to me
Mm.
blew. Are we allowed to cuss on here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Totally.
blew my fucking mind. Like how am I in my 30s at this point? Well into my 30s at this point, and never have heard of this.
Yeah.
How has my family not heard of this? How has our church, well, it's a whole different conversation with me in church, but how have we not heard of this? Like why was it so hush? Unless you lived around or knew someone in, and then the secrets were still buried.
Yeah.
Like I was like, WTF, right?
Yeah.
And so I contacted Barb, and I was like, let's have a phone conversation. And I was on the phone with her for 8 to 10 hours that day. I mean, it became a full-time job, and which I loved. But I was like, you know what? Let's do a mini series. Let's do, get as many girls as you want, as you can, and let's do a mini series. And so I believe there was 6 girls from Barb's recommendation that contacted me. and I had an episode, one with each telling their story because all stories are different. And
Yeah.
then we had the very last episode. I wanted to kind of be like, if anyone watches like The Housewives, I
Yeah.
wanted to kind of be like the Housewives reunion kind of thing, right? Where it's like roundtable discussion. And because I had obviously the roundtable discussion was released before the episodes were, but I had been letting certain people hear the episodes, or I was reaching out to certain people and within my community saying, "Have you ever heard of anything like this?" And so I started collecting questions, and then I also want to do like a check-in with them on how it felt because a lot of these women, it was the first time that several of them were sharing their story for the first time. Not
Yeah.
all of them, not all of them was a Barb, right? That was like going up to Congress, Congress meetings and saying, "Shut up and listen to me for a
Yeah,
minute."
she's a beast. She's
She
a force to be reckoned with. Like,
ain't she though?
yeah. Yeah.
She's introduced me to so many people. I mean, like there for a while.
Yeah.
I was like, so when I first started my podcast, I thought my target audience was going to be gay people and
Yeah.
and it would be like hate crime related. Um, and if not gay, female, women.
Yeah.
Um, I was so wrong.
Yeah.
And so I have another mini series with the Bethel Boys, which is one of the boy homes.
Yeah.
Um, I'm working closely now, who has been a guest on my new podcast and on the Unholier. Her name is Tabitha Peachtree.
Petrie? Petrie?
Petrie. Uh-huh. With the laws that she is trying to change and what she is
Yeah.
presenting. And so, Sabrina, do you know Sabrina Young?
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I've interviewed her.
she was a part of the Rebecca Girls
Yep.
miniseries.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So
So that's how I'm connected to it.
yeah, we've interviewed some of the same people. That's cool.
So were you a part of?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Do you mind if I ask a little bit about your background with it?
Yeah. Yeah. But also, I do want to come on your show. So I kind of want to save like
Oh,
that,
perfect. Perfect. Yeah,
for that.
perfect.
But I can give like a gist. I can give a gist. Do you want me to give a gist real quick?
I would love that.
Okay. So when I was 16, I was, I'm just gonna call it what it was. I was trafficked by my parents across state lines to a place in Montana called Spring Creek Lodge Academy, and it was crazy. I was there 22 months, and like it's just fucked up, man. I spent like pretty much I spent my first year there like I was like fuck this, like because at home it would be like oh yeah, I'm just gonna fucking act out till they just say we can't even have you here because you're fucking causing a scene and shit, right? So watch, I'm gonna get kicked out of this place. And for the first year, I was just but then then you realize that if you act up, then they take you and they'll put you in study hall, or they'll fucking restrain you, or they'll just take you up to solitary confinement and throw you in there for fucking days, and just like it's anything to break your psyche and break you. And so for the first year I was there, I was in between what they called intervention, which is like solitary confinement, and then study hall, which was just a place they make you write like thousands of sentences. So like depending on the severity of the rule you've broken, like say like, hey, Jordan, self-correct your cat three. All right, you don't self-correct, then staff corrected. So self and staff correcting is two different things. So like if it's staff corrected, essentially if the first word out of your mouth isn't I self-correct, like instantly, like no, not even thinking about it, I self-correct like instantly acknowledge like I was doing something wrong, like I self-correct, then it's staff corrected, so you lose more points. So depending on the severity, it'd be like you got 30,000 sentences. I want you to write like what you did, why it's wrong, and what you're gonna do in the future, and write like 30,000 words or whatever. So that'd be one of them. Or they put you in solitary confinement. So I was getting removed every day because like I was just fuck this, like fuck the program. This is stupid as fuck. Like I want to go home. Like this is just stupid. Like I have to get points, and then I just even when I would try to get points, like there was times when I would even try to get points, and then people would just like, and there was other thing. There's like a lot of intricacies to it because like I kind of fucked myself. The very first day I was there, I got caught lying. and like you're putting these like families with like just like about up to like 30 different kids from different backgrounds, mind you. Like some of these are drug addicts, some of these are people who just like mouthed off to their parents and disrespected them. Some of them are actually like, people that have suffered a lot of abuse at home. Some of them actually have like a lot of mental like problems. And so you put all those people together, and some people aren't the nicest, and it's kind of like mob mentality after a certain point. So there was times when like people would just call me out, because that's another part of it is when you get high enough in the levels, you have to start calling your friends out like a policeman. You're essentially you have become the police. You now need to police not only your friends, but you have to police everybody. You have to police the people that you like and the people that you don't like. And so I was there 22 months in total, and I ended up having to graduate. I was the last person to graduate from there before it got shut down due to a bunch of different like lawsuits that was thrown at him. One involving like there was actually a woman, a girl, rest in peace, Carly Newman. Uh,
Yes.
she hung herself in the
Yes.
bathroom.
Yes, I've talked about that
Yeah, and it's
on my
very
podcast.
unfortunate. Because she never should have been there in the first place. And also from what I understand, her parents were actually like actively had like a fucking court order to have her removed from the program. And they like the sheriff was just not taking it to them because the sheriff was involved. So he like sat on that fucking court order, a straight up fucking court order. He sat on that shit for like 2 to 3 days. Like, and that literally could have saved her life. So, stuff like that, and just like negligence, and I'm sure that there was a couple other lawsuits, but they shut down. But what these programs do, a lot of them, is that they will start getting a lawsuit, start taking some heat, be like, okay, we need to either shut down our operation or they get shut down. And then what they do is they just rebrand and reopen with fucking the same, sometimes the same staff,
Yep.
even. It's just we're not the same fucking people. We're a different program. This isn't Spring Creek Lodge Academy. This is Spring Ridge Lodge Academy. It's like it's not the same shit. Like even though they're doing the same shit, so they never get held accountable. It's just like these people
Well,
are fucking with
sorry.
impunity, like it's unbelievable.
Yeah. 100% it is. There's a few things that I want to add into that is we can listen to people that have been a part of this organization. I'm speaking from someone who was not. So, to anyone who is having any kind of doubts, and there'll be a reason why I'm saying that, I want you to listen to me for a minute. Not you. Well,
Yeah,
yes, you, but the person that could have doubts.
yeah,
What I have learned from the research I've done from the police, the lawyers, the victims that the survivors of the victims that I have spoken with. There's a lady that has went viral multiple times, and on TikTok she's called the T.T.I mom, and her son was sent to one of these camps, and she was able to visit him for like a weekend and camp out with him or for a night or something. But she fought for years to, well, that might be a little dramatic. She fought a long time. I want to say it was a year or two to get him out because her husband and she had divorced.
yep,
He had a shit ton of money. He signed the rights over. And so here's what I want to say to the people that are questioning things, that are wanting to victim blame or victim doubt. The branding of this organization was brilliant. The troubled teen industry. So if one of your teens, if a teen was able to speak to their parent and was able to somehow let them know that they were in danger or that they were being hurt because everything had to be coded because all the phone calls were monitored.
yeah,
And there was punishment that came with not walking and talking like they told you to do. And on my podcast, I have stories of someone talking in code. They were saying, "What's happened to brother? What's happened to brother?" And and the dad was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And they're like, "No, mom said something's happened to brother. Like he has hamburger butt. Like he's got all these terms I've never heard of before until Barb, and finally the dad caught on and was like, "Are you in danger? Are you hurt? Are they hurting you?" And the dad showed up 2 days later to get his damn daughter because he didn't know, right?
Mm.
And but what is so brilliant about this branding is if a teen person was on the phone talking to a loving parent, which a lot of the people in these facilities do not have loving parents, right? And um, but if the teen was on the phone with them trying to talk code and got caught or blatantly said, "I'm being sexually assaulted," which I've covered. I came here pregnant, and I've had women reach out to me that I've had Zoom calls with. They were sent to a certain facility while pregnant, had their baby, and their baby is gone. Their baby was sold in a Walmart parking lot. The church takes the money, and this is happening
Yeah.
current day, current
Yeah.
time. These women are wanting me to help them find their baby, and that's one of the things that we're working on. But and I know I'm talking in circles. So there's just so much to say, but the reason the branding is so brilliant is if any of these children was talking to the parents and said, "They're assaulting me. I came here pregnant. My baby's gone. I'm not getting medical attention. I'm been put in a room to listen to scripture on a micro, for hours at a time with no food, no water. I'm having to stand on my bare feet with my nose against the wall for 72 hours at a time. I'm having to put my ass in a toilet bowl to feel the cold water on my ass because it's the only soothing I get." And then some instructor from the TTI takes the phone away from them and says, "Well, remember, your child is troubled. They're lying to you.
Hmm. Yeah.
They're here. You sent them here, or they were assigned here, or brought here, whatever, because they're troubled. So you can't believe them." And then most of them ride the coattails of religion.
Oh yeah. Yeah. A lot of them do. Even the ones that don't like forward face, like outwardly, like express that they're connected. There's there's connections with all this shit's connected, and not everybody sees it, but I see all the connections, and
Oh,
it's connected to everything.
right there with you, man.
It's a spider web, man.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
And
It's all
and I want
connected.
to and I want to say this too. There are so many stories I've covered, and I do research. I vet within my wheelhouse, right? Like I'm not an investigative reporter. I don't have shit tons of connections, but I have a few here and there. And not to mention anything we can pretty much Google, at this point.
Or FOIA request, you know.
Right. And there are families that have taken second mortgages out of their home,
Yep.
that have went into an abundance of debt that they can't get out of, because there are some families now I have found with what research I've done, they are a little bit few and far between, but there are some families that the mom and dad were also conned into this. Like the
Oh
church
yeah,
has
yeah.
told
Yep.
them, and so they're doing like second mortgages on their house or having to work 12 jobs, to send their child. What I want to say is this is I'm going to preface with this. This is not saying that the Hiltons are more knowledgeable than anyone else, more powerful than anyone else, smarter than anyone else. What I'm trying to say is when it comes to the Hiltons, and I mean Paris Hilton and the Hilton family, the multi probably billion-dollar family at this point. they sent Paris here.
Yeah.
That's what her new book is about, that she wrote, I guess, 3 or 4 years ago, exposing this. If a family that has unlimited resources, not unlimited knowledge, but unlimited resources, still fell for these brochures, because I have called some of these places and had them send me brochures if I'm contemplating sending my child there. I get the brochure, I want to go there. The brochure is
They
lovely.
make it look fucking amazing.
The brochure is lovely. So if the Hiltons, who have unlimited resources, can be duped out of their money, out of sending their child there, uh, you already know I'm going to be duped,
Yeah,
right? Because not because they're smarter than me, but because my resources are more limited than theirs. And so I want to be very clear on that. However, because of Barb and Sabrina, can I tell you something that's kind of like a fun little Paris Hilton T.T.I story?
sure.
And I can send you the video too if you
Yeah.
want to. But I was at work one day. The Rebecca Girl miniseries is what put me on the map. Like I did decent. Like when you were talking about like we just reached 100,000, that's a big fucking deal. Don't minimize that. That's a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
So up until the point that their episodes were released, I was probably podcasting for about a year. And at that point, I had probably reached, 100,000. Um, Miniseries, Rebecca Girls miniseries came out, and everything doubled because Barb, Sabrina, these girls, they will find you at a grocery store and tap you on the shoulder and be like, download, watch, listen, leave a comment.
Yeah.
Like they put me on the map. And so I'm at work one day, I'm sitting in my office, and my phone just keeps blowing up out of the norm. And so finally, like I go, I'm like, well, let me just go outside and see what's up. Hundreds of messages being like, why are you plastered all over Times Square above Paris Hilton? So Paris Hilton did this live promotion about her book, and my podcast of the Rebecca series was the only podcast allowed to be on Times Square while Paris Hilton was presenting her book. So people were watching the news and all this coverage and like Bravo and people play I guess networks that would cover such a thing and support like a Paris Hilton, and they were like messaging me like, your podcast was just on the news. Your podcast was just in Times Square. And I was like, I still didn't even know what that meant. And they were starting to send me videos. I reached out to Sabrina and I was like, because it was like um it was the promos that I put together for the miniseries. And it had like the cover of Sabrina's book and like Sabrina with her, as a kid, and Barb and every the women that I was trying to acknowledge and support. And I was like, holy fuck. So then that day, Paris Hilton started following me. Never had a conversation with her. I've had a conversation with her, like not lawyer, but I guess like personal assistant kind of thing, where we may be able to do something together one day. But that was just really cool, and then it brought even more attention to my show. And so it's not that I'm trying to throw Paris Hilton's name out there because she's this big time celebrity, but you have to sometimes use that into your advantage when you can for that clickbait, when the goal is for people to hear these stories.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do whatever you can to get the story out there. Yeah.
Thank you for letting me go on my tangent, but that was such a fun, exciting moment for me. But it was also but it also showed me how powerful it is. And I've had so many people reach out to me where I'm the first one that they've ever shared their story to, where I've become their safe place, where they have sent people to me. And it's like there's a bit of a difference when there's a stigma that comes to mental health, right? And so when people are speaking of I'm a victim of this, immediately because of how society fails us, we think, well, if you're a victim of it, then you're not going to tell me the full truth about it. It's going to be exaggerated. It's going to have a victim mentality. What I have learned is these victims, they don't have to make up stories.
Yeah,
These
no.
stories are so fucking crazy. I didn't know, and so this is gonna be my question to you, and I'll get off on my tangent. Were you gooned? Are you familiar with gooning?
Yeah, where they come and pick you up, but with people?
Yeah.
No. No, my parents did the gooning. They fucking trafficked me. They tricked me.
So I've
My
talked to
parents did it.
people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, I've talked to people where the parents had, and so this one lady, Tammy, that I had on, her parents drugged her
Yeah.
and put her in the back of the car. She woke up in this
Well,
place, and
From
there
what
are
I from
people.
I've actually heard that sometimes they actually tell the parents to do that. Like
Yeah.
just do whatever you can do
Well,
to get them.
oh no, no, it was done based on guidelines from the facility.
Yeah, yeah, of course. 100%. Yeah.
And so to the listener, if no one knows what gooning is, because I didn't know, but when the parents contact these places, these facilities, and they say, okay, I'll pay $25,000 every quarter of a year, or whatever it is, because every child was priced differently based on what they could afford, because the facility didn't care as long as they were getting some kind of money, right?
Yeah.
Um, so there were different ways to get the child to the facility. One of the ways, all of them equally traumatic, but one of the ways, and I thought this was a fucking lie. Like that's how ignorant I was. This I was like, this woman has Barb is who I'm talking. I was like, she's watched some kind of movie
No,
and
there's literal
and made this
companies
into
that
her
do
life.
that. There's literal
And then
companies. Yeah.
yeah, and then I researched it. There are people that these TTI organizations will send to your home. You'll put your child to bed. They think they're going to wake up tomorrow and have Sunday church or Saturday breakfast or Monday school. And in the middle of the night, men, and in some cases women, are in their home as burglars,
Huge,
kidnapping.
huge, like big men, like big, like 6 foot, like fucking muscular. Like from what I've heard, every single account is they're huge. Like there's
Yeah,
no way you're fucking getting past these people.
yeah. These children wake up and they're terrified. They're like, has mom and dad already been killed? Like, what's happening? They don't know that their mom and dad is part of it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and they're put in a car. They're tied up. They're put in a car. They're taken to airports. They're flown off. They're told you don't say anything or things get worse. At this point, the brainwashing has started. The fear mongering has started. And this is children. Children. I'm so mad.
Yeah.
I'm so mad.
I think the youngest that I've interviewed was like 11 years old when this happened to them. I think maybe somebody even younger, but I've interviewed so many people now. It's like over 200 that it's hard
Yeah.
to keep track sometimes. But I remember everybody. It's not like I've forgotten any of you, but it's just hard to pinpoint like who was who exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. I'm like, I know that we I know that I've talked to so many people, and man, we're definitely going to have to off record um have a conversation. I definitely want you on my show, but I feel that so what I have learned from my personal trauma is there's a stigma, there's things that come to mental health, period. And then there's subcategories, right? And so people want to say, well, of course, David has mental health issues. He's gay. You know, I will also say my family does not think that. I'm talking about society. Luckily, I have an amazing, loving family, right? That's very supportive. But there are in I don't ever want to cross a line or a boundary, but in today's America, um, there's a lot of divide,
Oh yeah.
and I'm very loud. I'm very loud. I in today's society with different administrational, congressional policies and things that are happening, I lead as a white man. I benefit more than some would. Now, you find out I'm gay and might get an notch or two, but as far as like taxes, finances, what I benefit a little. I benefit a little. Uh, Not insinuating that I'm a billionaire, millionaire, nowhere close to it, but there's categories, right? I will never, ever wait until something affects me to then be loud. I'm smart enough to know that I have to be loud now to defend the people that's going to affect before it gets to me because I don't want it to affect them. I don't want it to escalate to me and they don't deserve it either. And I also mean that when it comes to these organizations, right? Because I could, I would never test this. I would never test it, but I could give my brother a brochure, and he's got 5 kids. And I could say, like, I think ex-nephew would do great here. He would thrive, he would shine. Maybe he should go here. And looking at the brochure, my brother would write a check. My grandmother would write a check. I would write a check looking at the brochure, thinking we're doing something beneficial.
Yeah, it's the only way to save your child. Act now
Yeah.
before it's too late. Yeah. Yeah. People are thinking emotionally and they
Yeah.
make decisions emotionally. And they say, "Oh, 50 grand? Oh, okay, it's gonna be that might things might be tight for a while, but if it's this is the only way to
Because
save
here's
my
the thing,
kid."
because I had wondered how are these families coming up with money so quick? But
Most of them taking out loans on their house or
exactly,
selling
exactly.
cars or downsizing.
But this means that they also have to have good credit. Like there's things with that comes with selling and rebuying, or you know what I mean? There's other things to it. So I'm like, how
Well,
is
nowadays the government's subsidizing sending kids to these places.
100%, but that
Yeah.
hasn't been always, right?
No, not always, no, but
Yeah.
nowadays they're paying the government's literally paying to torture our children now.
Oh yeah.
So
I had even made a comment, and again,
not everybody in the government, just to be clear. I'm just saying our government, there's people in the government that are shady and doing shady things, as with any fucking sector. But it's
yeah.
not definitely not everybody, but there's
And
definitely an
I'm
extreme
definitely not
bunch.
trying to make things political because I don't know where
Yeah.
you sit and all that. It's my business. You know what I mean?
I'm an independent. I like ideas. I don't like people, you
So,
know? So,
um, but I was having a conversation with a friend of mine that was part of the TTI, and I was like, in today's administration, it's becoming like a TTI, and because here's the thing, these brochures, a lot of the facilities that I know about
mhm.
are religious based.
Oh yeah.
So there are documented legal court fact checked stories of men and women sexually assaulting girls and boys, minors in these places, getting them pregnant, the baby disappears. They come in pregnant, the baby disappears. That like this is all written on Jesus and God. And so when you look at this beautiful brochure that your child is going to be like riding horses into this field in the sunset, and they're going to come here and they're going to sit down on the field and we're going to all pray together, there's a little bit of truth. There's always nuggets of truth. But the truth is that I have factual proof of is there is a pretty field, there is a sunset, there's a horse, but the child is feeding the horse, picking up the manure, walking the horse hundreds of feet and miles. I don't want to say hundreds of miles, but miles. Um, and they are having to pray, but they're not praying this, my life is better and everything is great and I'm glad I'm here. They're praying for their parents or someone to come find them and save them because they're about to be sexually assaulted. They're about to be starved. They're about to be locked in a room and hurt and tormented, all in the name of God. And I used to be religious. I was never in a religious cult or anything like that. But I used to believe, I used to have a relationship with God. After after my rape and attempted murder, I started having questions. And
Yeah, how if there's a God, why would he let something like that happen, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and I was 34 years old when it happened to me.
Yeah.
And if it fucked me up mentally and emotionally as bad as it did at 34 years old, when I'd had previously sexy, excuse me, when I had previously had healthy, sex life, um, and sexual education, and it changed my definition of sex. A lot of these children, because let's be honest, they're children. I'm not gonna say preteens, I'm not gonna say teenager where it's
Well, until
we're
you're
already
18,
17,
until
18.
well, really, technically, I think until like your brain's fully developed is my interpretation of when you're an actual adult. But I mean, legally 18. But I would argue that it's actually late 20s because
So
your brain doesn't stop developing until a certain age, you know?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
are you really an adult if your brain's not fully developed? Like, what is an adult? Like,
Well, and that's why I want to be so loud, right, man? Because if at 34 years old, if being sexually assaulted by a stranger. I never met this dude. He broke into my home, raped me one time. I would never have been able to pick him out of a lineup. The only reason he was found is because he went bar hopping and bragged about the faggot he killed, and then they kicked him out, and then he wrecked my car because he had stolen my car and credit cards, and so when the cops
smart,
picked up,
smart.
do it.
I said smart,
Right. So
smart.
then when the cops show up, he confesses to murder because he thought he killed me. He called the mother of his child standing over my body using my phone, confessing to murder.
Wow.
And so they found me 18 hours later and thinking I was dead. And if this person, I saw him one time. I saw him in the bar that he saw me in. And surveillance shows where he followed me home and followed me out, um, unknowingly. The next time I saw him was months later in court. I would never have been able to pick this dude out of a lineup, and so my thing is if one encounter, granted horrific encounter, but one encounter changed my definition to sex and my trust as much as it did as a 34-year-old man, imagine what it does to a child when somebody is doing it. And the same somebody, in a lot of cases, are doing it each day over and over and over again. If I know how bad it is to have had that happen, this dude on estimatedly spent 3 hours with my body.
Wow.
Wow. That's horrific. That's
Yeah.
disgusting, right? The children in these TTI places, their abusers are with them more than they are not. 3 hours would be a blessing for the abused if that's all it was. goddamn daily. And these are children who sometimes they're being introduced to sex for the first time as this destruction. I luckily had a healthy sex life before this happened. I knew what a healthy sex life could be. I knew that this was wrong. But some of these people are, these, I'm not saying people, these children were introduced to this, and their assaulter was with them day in and day out.
Yeah.
I'm not in a place in a world um, where I compare traumas. I don't think what I went through is the hardest thing I went through. What you went through is the hardest thing you went through. I don't compare traumas
Yeah.
until it comes to children. And what they went through is nothing compared to what I went through.
Yeah.
And I will not shut up about it. And it didn't even happen to me. And I won't shut up about it.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me go on another tangent.
No, you're fine. You're totally fine. Yeah, we have to continue to be loud, but and it is sad because there's momentum. What I see in the community is that there's momentum, and like when the program came out, there was a ton of momentum, and everybody wanted to expose it, and then slowly over time that started to die down. And it's like we need to keep the momentum like up, like going, like continually going. Like we can't let it like just go down because like we can't. Like my biggest thing is like there's all these protests and everything, and like do what you want, but like what about coming together as an entire world for the goddamn children who are our future? What where's the unity for the children? That I don't understand that. Yeah, yeah, there is unity for children like they're dying in other places, but like I'm talking about like the children being sold into sex trafficking and trafficked and sent to these programs and all this trauma happening to them. Like who's advocating for them? Like where?
Well, and that's what breaks my heart, man, is
Because I'm angry. You know what I mean? I want
same.
this stuff to be out.
I keep trying to word this in a different way because I don't know your platform that well. Um, and I don't ever want to be disrespectful or cross a line. But we're in a place with this administration where uh, what was it? Allegedly 7 million people voted for Donald Trump, and which means they voted for a rapist. They voted for a child abuser. And
Who's potentially connected to Epstein? Allegedly, allegedly. I'm not trying to
alleged.
be rude,
Mhm.
okay?
Yep, alleged. Yeah, yeah,
Allegedly, definitely allegedly, big allegedly, but
yep.
because apparently
And I
he
will
had
put
come
in
out and said he didn't do it and he cut ties, but you know,
and I'll put
he might
in
have connections to him, and that in
and
itself,
I'll put in the disclaimer that this that my opinion has no reflection of your show.
yeah, yeah,
It is simply my opinion, and MAGA can come after me. But if if they're willing to support that type of person, they're the people that would send their child to a TTI, and they wouldn't care. They would find a way to justify the TTI.
yeah.
In my opinion, allegedly, my attorneys are messaging me right now saying, "Tell me to shut up."
No, yeah, I think just in general, like the whole people trying to even act like the whole Epstein thing and like just the transparency, like we just want transparency. This isn't even a fucking partisan issue. This affects both sides. This affects everybody. Like we need to literally fucking like show us the goddamn the not the X Files, the fucking the Epstein files, you know? Like the X Files
I
would
mean,
be cool too, but I mean like
like we might need that as a palate cleanser after the after the Epstein file. But
yeah, but I want all, I want all of them. Like, of course not, like I don't give a fuck about, child sex material. Like nobody wants to see that. Like nobody's asking for that. We just want the fucking names, dude. We want to know who is involved. We want to know why are you protecting these people? Why are you continually redacting so much shit when legally you're not even allowed to do that. Like they're literally breaking the law. And also, there's as far as I believe, like they're past the deadline to explain why they redacted that stuff because they didn't even explain it.
hence
So
the war in Venezuela.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, that's just another fucking, it's a distraction. It's a distraction, but it's very unfortunate for the people that are living there, you know? It's a
Well,
distraction that's
but
working.
the people living there are not white. So MAGA doesn't care about them. They're less than because they're not white.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, and it's all about oil. We all know it's all about oil.
It's all about oil.
Yeah. Which is really ironic because we have oil here, but yeah, that's a whole nother tangent. I don't want to go off on too far, but we have oil in places already in the United States that we could be tapping into.
However, total
On a
sidebar,
minor
if you
scale.
want to have me on to go on some of those tangents, I would be happy to. Because here's the thing, and this will bring us back to like the podcasting thing, right? But my social medias are very political.
Yeah.
Um, they're only political. They're all fact checked, um, or they are stated as my opinion. And I am doing very well at building a platform. Before this new MAGA culture, this
Yeah.
year-old MAGA culture, um, I was already into building a platform of I will believe survivors, I will support survivors. I will also recognize when a survivor isn't being truthful because there are stories, right? Where someone might say this person has assaulted me and they were abusive, they raped me, whatever. Um, there are just as many of those stories as there are trans people playing sports. It's like 0.01%. You know what I mean? But I'm going to believe them until I know better, until I've been taught differently. I'm always going to believe the victim. And so, in order for me to be true to my platform, in order for me to not be called a hypocrite, um, I can't be quiet. I have been a guest on people's podcasts that I have said, you know what? I need to stay myself out. And I have left because 15 minutes into it, they make some kind of racist comment. I won't stand for that. They made some kind of victim blaming comment. I won't stand for it. And I've been a part of someone's live recently where they only want people to believe that they are the only ones that has ever been raped and assaulted, and everyone else is a liar. And I won't stand for it. And so I have to see myself out of those situations because if I don't, then I'm hypocritical to what I've been fighting for. And I will never be the person that says, I'm creating this platform. I believe you. But then on this page, I sit in silence. I'm always 100, always. And some people love that and some people hate that. But the ones that hate it are the ones that I'm not interested in having in my life.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Another thing that I always tell people is that like because people always try and get me to take sides with certain like because there's drama within the survivor community, and a lot of times people want me to take sides with certain this survivor or that survivor. It's like I'm not going to do that because for one, what does that do to the integrity of my podcast if I can't remain neutral when I'm sharing these stories? You know what I mean? I have opinions. Sure, I have opinions, but this isn't my time to talk about my opinions. This is the time to share their stories. So it's kind of hard sometimes when people want you to take a side, you know? And it's just like, oh, trust her. No, trust her. Oh, don't talk to her or don't talk to him. Because there is a lot of, unfortunately, in the survivor community, there's a lot of divisiveness and like, because this is how we were programmed to act and behave in the program. We were programmed to attack each other, to bring each other down, to like literally just like stab each other in the back, like call each other out, like snitch on each other, like fucking just, finger pointing, stuff like that. Like this is how we were trained. At least that's how I was trained in my program was to tear each other down
Yeah.
and self-preservation over everything. And there's a lot of that in the survivor community where people just want to, tear each other down. And it's like, why can't we all just come to, we need to just be unified. Like what happened to us is bad enough. Like we don't need to continue the fucking bullshit by arguing with each other. And so that's another reason I don't take sides. Like I definitely have opinions. Have a bunch of opinions, but it's just that's one line I draw with my podcast is that I don't take sides in conflict with between survivors and because
Absolutely. And I totally respect
can't,
that.
I can't
And
do
and when it comes to the survivors, absolutely 100. Like we all have our stories. We're all a victim of something. That's why I say we don't compare traumas, right?
yeah.
I can't say that yours is harsh than mine or mine is harsh than yours. What I went through was the hardest thing that I've been through and vice versa,
Yeah.
right? Like there's no comparison. If we set to see whose dick's bigger, Darren, who's been more traumatized, we both have small dicks at that point. You know what I mean? Like because there are people that have went through a lot worse than we have, and whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, where there's a bit of a difference, in my opinion, not allegedly. This is 100% my opinion, but no reflection of your show, right? But absolutely a reflection of Surviving Ish podcast, Surviving Network. Is it's not about right and left anymore. It's not about right and wrong, or well, it's not about, red and blue. It's ethics and morals and values. And when someone tells me that they voted a certain way 3 times and they still defend what is happening right now and people are being murdered on our street, you're not welcome in my life and you're not welcome on my podcast. You're not welcome. And
Yeah.
that's where I stand
Yeah.
as an individual not associated with your podcast.
Yeah.
Hope I covered all bases.
And also, I mean, it's your platform. You're able to do what you want with your platform. Like some people don't understand that. It's just like, yeah, but it's my I created this Like I make the rules, like this is what it is, you know? So I mean
Well,
like
and what is so
people
lovely about that, and you don't have to, this can be rhetorical, you don't have to like answer it, but I feel comfortable saying what I just said because the people that want to be on my show don't have to always have the same 100% beliefs that
Oh
I
yeah.
do. But if you think that a woman should die versus getting an abortion, you're probably not going to want to be on my show. You know what I mean? Like, you probably already hate me. Like, I've never met a racist that loves gay people. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when you're a racist, you probably don't want to be on my show. So, so the reason I feel comfortable stating the things I said is the people that want to be on my show are not MAGA.
Yeah. They probably honestly like a lot of the like they probably don't even like know about these things going on, TTI or any of that. Like, to
Right.
be honest, like a lot of them, they're like a large portion of the population just in general has no fucking idea that these places even exist. Even you until more
Yeah.
recently, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just they're so good at hiding themselves, and just it's unbelievable. You know, they do a really good job at hiding themselves. That's why they go in the middle of nowhere. It's like nobody will hear you scream, you know?
Well,
Scream as loud
that's the
as you
beauty.
want, you
That's the
know?
beauty of religion, right? Is the biggest, harshest weapon that I truly think that we should have a license to carry is religion, because it is weaponized more than when someone tells me, when they're like, "Hi, we're talking like, oh, I'm a Christian, I go to church every Sunday," I immediately shut down. I'm like, "Oh, you're bad. You rape children. You steal money. You're judgmental. You love gluttony. You've cheated on your wife or husband, but then went and prayed on Sunday about it, and everything was fine." Like, these are the thoughts that go in my head immediately when I hear this. And so I think there needs to be some kind of regulation. But I don't think you should go to church until you're 18 and make that decision.
But
Just like you can't get a gun until like, I don't know.
yeah, I don't think this is my personal opinion, but just very personal opinion. I might even cut this out, but I don't think that, and it's definitely probably going to be a hot take for some people, but I think it's borderline child abuse to even bring your child to church because you're formulating the way they view and think about the world. Do they actually want that, or is it that you're just their parents, so you want them to have this mindset? And if that is the truth, then that's child. You're, in my opinion, you're formulating the way they view the world. So they might not see the world in any other way from this point on because you have chosen for them that this is the best thing for my kid. And I'm probably going to cut that out, but it's just
And
that's
I won't be offended if you do, but I think it's a beautiful take because
yeah.
there's all these things of like, um, I have never met a drag queen that has come and knocked on my door and said, "Here's a brochure. Let me teach you how to worship RuPaul." I've never met a gay person. I'm gay. I've never been asked to knock on a door and say, "Let me teach you how to be gay." I've never had a Muslim knock on my door and say, "Let me lead you to the Muslim religion." I've never met a Jew that has knocked on my door and said, "Let me lead you to the Jew leadership." Um, when it comes to Christianity, daily, well, daily is an exaggeration, probably monthly, there's at least one brochure on either my door, my car, or both want me to come to some Christian church. Um, the Mormon religion is kind of the same way. So when they want to say, well, these drag queens are trying to read to children to indoctrinate them. Well, they're reading to children because children know how to read. It's that simple. Children don't know how to read, so drag queens are reading to children, not teaching them how to be gay. I know several drag queens that are straight.
And if they
That
weren't doing it, then somebody else would be reading to them. So what the fuck is the difference?
right. Um, well, okay, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say at that to that comment. Just because I want to respect your platform. Allegedly, all those things.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, yeah, it's just I don't think it matters who's saying it, you know. Somebody's gonna be reading it to them, so why not let it be them? You know,
I will
they're
say
doing it. If
to
they're
try
doing
to
it, if they're doing it good, let them do it. No,
yeah, yeah.
I think just over above everything, like if you do the job well, then you should do the job.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, you know.
I will say to try to bring this to a lighter side of things, because I'm sure it's probably time to start closing down,
Yeah,
is one thing that I loved about my family, and I'm not saying that my family is perfect or and that everyone should go by what they did. This is what worked for me and my family, right? My family goes to church every Sunday, still to this day. I meet them after church and I every Sunday and I have lunch with them. It's lovely. It's great. Um, my parents and family told me about God, told me about the Bible, showed me church, and said, "You make your own decision."
I
And
like that. I like
I
that
remember, I
approach.
remember being 5 years old and them saying, "If you want to go to church, fine. If not, fine. That if you want to read the Bible, fine." That I didn't go to Bible camp. I did not do anything religion oriented that I didn't want to do.
That's how it should be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You should make the decision
And
for
and
yourself.
to the listener who doesn't, know me, I mean, well, as you, no one knows me, if you didn't listen to anything, before this episode, I now identify as atheist,
I'm
and
agnostic.
so we have an
I
episode
kind of
about that.
switch back and forth between atheist and agnostic.
Yes, we need to put that on the list to talk about because I want you to go live with me and Jenny, who does the Unholier podcast. I want you to be on her show as well,
Okay.
because she um, is deconstructed from the IFB, like arranged marriage, now
Yeah,
divorce,
it's a
like
hard thing to do. It's a hard feat.
yeah,
People
yeah,
like that.
some
Yeah.
crazy shit. Well, she has deconstructed and found her way back into religion. I have not been through anything religion-esque like you all have. And I'm like, you know what? Like, this Bible guy sounds like a narcissistic asshole that I don't want to be a part of. And I think the reason I'm comfortable with saying that is because if there truly is a God, he's not the God that these people have been presenting.
Okay, but see,
Because,
here's the thing. Everybody wants to just avoid talking about the Old Testament. That's God. You want to know who God is? Read the Old Testament. Like, you want to know what the fuck he did? Like, just infanticide, like, like, to appease my wrath. Like, you need to fucking spill so much blood to appease my wrath, or
yep.
else I'll kill the whole everybody. Like, the whole that one time when he had the dude almost kill his son to show his faith or whatever, and then right when he was about to do it, he said, "No, no, 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 stop. I was just testing your fucking."
I was just testing you.
Yeah, I was just
And then
testing you.
now the son has the PTSD of like, my dad was gonna fucking kill me. Like, how do I have Sunday lunch with him now? Like, and so that's why I don't know how much of even the Bible I believe. I think there are a few stories here and there that are nice that teach you how to be a civilized adult. But the Bible is mostly about adultery, about sleeping with your father, about raping your daughter,
Rape
about
and pillaging. Yeah,
murder,
yeah.
like and then somehow white people and I'm white to the listener, I'm white, but somehow white people started designing God as white. And someone told me that there's a scripture in the Bible that says something to the terms of God being circumcised, but from well, Jesus, I guess, but from the places that Jesus would be, I'm not sure that he would be circumcised. I know that he's definitely not white. And in today's America, he would be deported if he lived to be deported.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, yeah. It's a sad truth. I think the sickest thing about the Old Testament though of all though is just the fact that, well, actually, that I think it was it the New Testament where he actually crucified his only son? Like, like that whole thing that he gave his only begotten son so that God could love the world.
But in
Da,
that
da, 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 all that shit. It's like
James 3, so is it James or
John
Jeremy? John?
3:16. John 3:16 says that God will love the world and gave his only
Is
begotten
John
son.
New Testament or Old Testament? So I don't read the Bible.
I think I'm pretty sure it's New Testament. But it's just insane to me that you would torture and then kill your only son. That's insane to me, dude. Like, even if it was for forgiveness of all mankind, like, really though? Your fucking only son, you're gonna torture him and kill him. Like, and you're gonna do it public? Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, personally, I like. I believe in a higher power. I think there's like something like maybe like a higher power, but I don't have a name for it. But as far as like God goes and Jesus and stuff like that, like I don't want any part of that because if that is him, like he might just blast me with a lightning bolt, dude. Like he might just say, "Yo, fuck you, dude. Like you're done. Like I don't like you, you know?"
I, sometimes I feel uncomfortable making this statement, and I say it depending on the platform that I'm on. And because of what you just said, and because I've read comments from people that, listen to you, I feel like we would all be on the same page where even if you don't agree with me, you'll understand what I'm saying, right? But the devil's never let me down. The devil has been loyal to me. That doesn't mean the things that the devil has approved of me doing, or if there's a devil, right? Quote
Yeah.
unquote. But whatever he's led me to do or planted in me to do, he's been there thick or thin. God is nothing but ultimatums. I have to worship you. I'm not allowed to be jealous, but you're a jealous motherfucker. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I can't like I can't wrap my mind around it. And the reason again that I feel comfortable saying that is if there truly is a God, he's looking at this Bible being like, bitch, that ain't me. You know?
Yeah.
And what I do find very no, I think I interrupted you. Please go ahead.
Oh no, no, no. I wasn't gonna say anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the last thing that I have to say, on tangent number five is I don't believe any of the Bible, right? Like I believe they're potentially moralistic stories to teach people how to be a good
Well,
people.
well, you know, it was like provably, factually, you can even look this up. It was literally created by the Romans to control the population.
And
Like provably. But they
and
don't want to fucking talk about that.
no, and King James, gay as hell.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, yes. I don't
We,
know.
we hate the gays, but like there's
Yeah.
documentation. But okay, so there was this thing I was listening to online and I researched it. Of course, I don't retain all the information, so forgive me because I will butcher the hell out of this. But it goes into how like there's some kind of something where the devil says that he will pull the biggest scheme over all of mankind. I sometimes wonder, is that the Bible? Because or the thought of what Jesus or God is, right? Like, is that the if all of this is real in some kind of way, isn't that the devil has designed this Bible that has put it in the hands of men, often white, who has inserted their prejudices, their um,
Interpretation.
interpretations,
Yeah.
and that's led deeper and deeper into hate. And so I truly, I mean, when you see daily, no exaggeration, I have a spreadsheet of it daily. There are churches of a preacher or someone related to or affiliated with bigger churches that are arrested daily for child pornography, for raping of a child, for abusing their wife. And they're like, I'm Christian. I'm Christian. Well, if you read the Bible, he sounds just like the people in the Bible. And so it makes me wonder, like, could the Bible be the devil's biggest scheme and scandal because people are being evil, all in the name of God, which is supposed to be love. And the biggest task is to recognize that. And those are the people that are going to get into heaven, you know? Because I'll tell you what, a couple of months ago, I guess, there was the whole like, it's the rapture thing. And I was like, all right,
That happens every like 5 years,
right.
like
I'm like,
clockwork.
okay,
Yeah.
what if two things are going to happen? But okay, so what was it? 2 or 3 months ago? Was it December, November, December?
December, probably.
December. It was like one day, and then it happened like oh, it was 3 days later, and then it was like 5 days, and it was like 2 weeks. Like all in 1 month, there was like supposed to be like seven different raptures, right? But all of them, I was like, one of two things are going to happen. I'm going to go to this bigger, greater, beautiful place, um, with a lot of amazing fucking people, and other people will be left down here. Um, in my opinion, no reflection on the show, MAGA will be left down here. Um, or I'll be left down here, and the previously mentioned people will go to heaven. And I'll tell you what, I don't want to spend eternity with those people. Statistics show they rape children, they rape women, they have premarital affairs with gay men behind their wives' backs. They are after our money, they're after our freedom, they're after our rights, and I don't want to be with them.
Yeah, also our land. Like Scientology is another big fucking
Yeah,
proprietor of this. Like they've bought so much fucking land. Like people don't really like the average person doesn't even understand how much land Scientology actually owns in the
yeah.
United States. And they're not just in the United States. They have fucking headquarters like worldwide. Like and the crazy thing about Scientology is that like there's a bunch of things that are crazy, but they'll actually like just stalk you and shit. They're one of the people that will actually, if you leave, they will stalk you, and like they
Oh
will
yeah.
not let you like they'll always make sure that you have to look over your shoulder and shit. They make you super paranoid. I've like done a lot of digging with information and watched a lot of documentaries about that and survivors of that. And
And
yeah,
I would
so
love to
stuff
have
like
a
that. I mean,
I would
that's
love to have a
classified as
conversation about that.
yeah, that's classified as a religion too. And so they don't need to pay any fucking tax. Like none of these fucking entities need to pay any taxes. And then you talk about like the fucking what is it, the Catholic ones that have is it the Catholics that have like those entire cities, the Vatican and stuff like that? Is that
Did
Catholic?
you, yeah. Did you see the Netflix documentary, like miniseries called Procession, about the Catholic boys that are now men, and they wanted to confront the church about their molestation? And did you see that?
No, I don't think so, but I'm not
Okay.
surprised. Yeah, I've heard about stuff like that happening. But
Yeah.
they
So
but they never
it's
get
called.
they usually never face any charges because
Oh
like
no, no, no.
I've heard that like the whole fucking the Vatican like you can actually like they cannot extradite the popes out of there or some
No,
crazy shit like that like to be tried.
that's why you have to bring it to the church and not to the cops. And and then the
They do their
punishment,
own investigation, right?
they do their investigation, and the punishment is kind of like T.T.I. They send bad boy rapist a couple of states away and let them start all over. Well, an episode that I would love for you to check out, because I would love to get him on your show, is one of the dudes that was a part of Procession.
Okay.
He's brilliant. He's amazing. We did a three-part episode with him. He's one of the main characters. It was like five guys in this documentary, and they were all um, abused by the Catholic preacher. They like the documentary takes you to where I mean they're full-grown men now, and this is happening from like 7 to 12, and they're full-grown men now, and they were trying to find houses and locations, and they would take boats to different places next to, like, I guess they live in like this like lake area, and they would walk and be like, no, this is there's a house, there's a cabin up here, and they would walk up and they would find that cabin. They confronted the church, they confronted, and this film Procession was up for a huge Grammy. Wait, is it Grammy or Emmy for movies?
Gram Grammy, I think, or
Grammys,
Oscar.
movies,
Oscar.
Oscar. Okay.
Yeah.
But I would love, and if you forget, let me know, and I can send you the link. But I would love for you to check him out. He's brilliant. He's passionate. He's amazing. Um, I would love to have him on your show. I would love to get him on
Yeah,
your show.
that's awesome.
The things that he has to say, and to have a man of his age. So I think he's older than me. So I think he's probably in his 50s, maybe. And he's straight. But to have a heterosexual man of a certain age being as loud as he is being, they need to be heard. And it's not that I minimized in any way, but I'm easily able to be swept under the rug. Well, he's gay. Well, he's this. Well, maybe if this happened to him, he wouldn't have been gay, but now he is, and he's a liar. Like there's always some kind of way to turn it around to me, and who I am as far as blaming the victim. But when you have these straight, older, masculine, dominating men that are like, okay, well, it happened to me too. It happened to me by your father, by your uncle, by your neighbor. Now what do you say?
Yeah.
People start to listen. And so that's why we need people with those demographics to speak up. And he's brilliant. I would love for you to check out the documentary. I would love for you to check out the 2 or 3 episodes I have with him. And I would love to introduce you. Like he's amazing.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, that would connect more dots because I'm connecting a lot of dots. Like I've interviewed now people with the foster care system, which is, I believe, is connected. Well, it's provably connected to the TTI because there's a lot of foster kids that don't even have parents, which I feel honestly kind of the worst for these people because they have nobody to vouch for them, even if they had somebody to call. Who the fuck are they going to call? And if you have somebody to call and it's your case manager and your case manager is complicit in the abuse, then you really have nobody to call and you're shit out of luck and you're being essentially trafficked by the government and having these things happen to you.
And
Being
so what does
it,
that boil down to?
what do you mean? I mean,
My
like, there's a
my
lot of, yeah,
Well, because the stories that I have followed that I've vetted and researched, there are people that I've had on my podcast that are documented at being the first female to escape the TTI, to run, to get miles away. But then a cop finds them,
takes him back.
and
Yeah.
and they see that they need medical attention, and they take them to the
Yep.
hospital. Well, they try to tell the cop, please don't take me back here. This is what's happening. The cop doesn't care. They take him to the hospital and they're talking to the doctor all in the same town. And the doctor calls the leader of the organization to
Yep.
come pick the child up. It's all about money.
It really is. And see, and that's the thing with the foster care system is that they're literally incentivized to have as many placements into fucking foster care homes of children as they can. The more children they place into foster care homes, the more fucking money they make. So they are then incentivized to place as many as they can. And that also means that maybe some of these families aren't even licensed to be foster families and the foster care system knowing the knows this that this could be a flight risk still leaves the children with them. They're abused there, but there's no tracking for them because they can go back to their house, but they're not even in the system as a foster. So they could be being trafficked to families. And I've actually interviewed several people that are like, I was trafficked. Like I interviewed one girl that said she was like fucking went to like 100 different fucking placements in foster care. And never once did she stay longer than a fucking month or two. And they were just fucking trafficking her to this house, this house, this house. And she was abused by several of those people. And so then you're literally being fucking trafficked and sexually abused by the government. And people are making bank off of doing all these placements. So it's like
And
it's a system in itself. It's like they're literally incentivized to do this. Not saying at all, for clarification, that everybody in the foster care system does this. Like I said earlier, there's bad players and there's good people trying to do good, but it's definitely a prevalent thing that happens. And another thing that happens is they get sent to these TTI placements from foster care. or they get in trouble with the court, and because they're in foster care, they get sent to the program because that's the only option. They don't have a family that they could go back to. So because
Well, and because
yeah,
what I have been able to discuss and improve is their judges
yeah, they're in on it too.
that are associated with, and so it's like, okay, we're gonna send you to the Bethel home. We're gonna send you to the Rebecca home, and then they get a little bit of a cut from it. And then you have, these organizations involved with TTI that's religious based, which guess what? No taxes.
Yep, yep, they're pocketing all that money. And specifically the one that ran a bunch of the TTI schools, like the umbrella that I went to, that like he owns a bunch of different schools, like Chafin, Cameron and Chafin. And this dude just fucking bought like a mansion and just abandoned it. Like literally just bought a fucking mansion off of all that misery money and literally just abandoned it. Left all the animals there. Literally left all the animals there just on the property. You saw the program, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that entire property he just fucking abandoned. Like doing shit like that. He's like, he's just wasting, he's just burning the money, dude. He doesn't give a fuck about any of us. Like
Well, and
they don't care about any of us, dude.
another 100%. And another thing that I want to bring to attention is, again, I wasn't a part of this. And so, oh crap. I forgot what I was going to say. It was going to be a good point too. And I forgot what I was going to say. You might have to edit that part out.
Okay, maybe it'll come to you in a sec.
It'll come to me eventually, but because we were talking about churches
Yeah.
and taxes and money
And the
it,
judges. Yeah.
and judges, yeah, it'll come to me. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, I definitely do want to talk to you more. We should collaborate. I do want to come on your show and do the Unholier, and then if you could link me
Yeah.
up with the other dude, that'd be cool. We
Yeah,
can,
I would love that.
yeah,
I would love that. And if you have anyone that you want to send to me, and or Jenny, please do.
yeah,
You have my email. I'll say like what I have found with the podcasting industry with certain genres, that everyone supports each other. We all know that we can have the same kind of genre, the same kind of goal, and we support the louder we are, the more people that we are, the more that's going to happen. And because I'm affiliated with other genres where I'm like, fuck, like we can all have a podcast about this.
yeah. Everybody
But
can eat. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, but you find certain people that truly care.
Yeah,
And I've watched several of your shows. I know that you care, and with what little bit you shared with me tonight, and willing to come on to my show and Jenny's show, to share in more detail, really means a lot to me. And anything that I can do for you or any of the survivors that you know as being an ally, um, I'm happy to. And if I have to share 100 stories, I will share them times two. I will do whatever I can. Um, I've developed a big passion for this, and I honestly can't relate, but I don't have to,
yeah,
right? People tell me all the time, they're like, I don't know how to relate of the fact that my marriage could be null and void at any moment, or that my marriage could never exist, or that I had to fight to even be married. And they have been married 6 times in the 7 years I've been married to one person. And that's not talking bad about them. It's just that they don't know how to wrap their mind around that. And we have to, what I appreciate about the things that we're doing is we are trying to open people's minds to things that they could easily be conned into, schemed into, manipulated into, or even be naively a part of, without having facts. And I appreciate that about your platform and in mine.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm glad we were able to link up and do this. Um,
Yeah.
since you didn't attend a place, with your picture, can you just send me like your podcast logo
Yeah.
or just like any logos of your podcast, and then I'll try and incorporate them into the thumbnail.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as we get off, I'll send it and you'll have it.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Yeah, we'll definitely have to talk some more. Um, Thank you so much for everybody that's tuned in and watched. We will catch you on the next one. Let's just keep pumping it out and keep on getting the word out there about these places. Do you have any closing thoughts?
No, I just appreciate this platform and what you're doing. And if anyone wants to reach out to me and be a part of my show, I'm on all social media platforms as surviving underscore ish podcast. And I'd love to have you. I'd love to connect.
Okay, and I'll leave all your details in the description below too, so people can reach out and all that. So thank you guys so much, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye, y'all.